I've been getting tons of DMs about this machine since I unboxed it, built it, and been posting it on my Instagram. So today you're gonna find out if this 3D hip thrust machine is Garage Gym Girly approved, or if I think it's another overhyped piece of machinery. Does it really do more than just barbell hip thrust or Smith machine hip thrust? Today you're gonna find out, so let's go ahead and get into this video. Full transparency, I did order this off Temu, so I'll talk a little bit about my ordering experience through there. If you're nervous ordering from Temu, I also did see this on Amazon for about $100 more. So we'll talk about if this machine is worth that price tag. Let's go ahead and start off with the pros of this machine. This machine is a fairly simple build. It comes in 2 heavy boxes. I believe this machine is shy of 300 pounds. So between those 2 boxes, you're gonna have to drag those things to wherever you decide to build this. But the good news is once you have all the parts unpacked, it's a fairly simple build and it's a lot less complex than I was expecting. The second positive about this machine is arguably the most important of the video. This machine is very smooth. It is smooth horizontally and vertically. The bearings are not too loud and they're buttery smooth. So that makes for a great experience when you're doing any of the various movements that this machine can perform. Let's get into the various movements that this machine is capable of and what it's not capable of, depending on your shape, your size, and your height. Let's talk about hip thrust first, since this is the main movement that this machine does really well. So this works just like a normal Smith machine. You press up and unhook it, and then you're ready to rock. Now, you can see at 5'2", my feet are at the very bottom of this foot plate. So I think you can be up to 6 foot and perform these hip thrusts just fine. In fact, when I first built this machine, I was a little nervous looking at it because I was like, oh, I'm going to be too short. But it's very, very comfortable for me. This pad at the back is at a perfect angle for me. The foot plate is at a perfect angle for me. This is a very comfortable movement. I've always struggled with hip thrusts. They've always been uncomfortable on my low back. I don't know if it's the angle of everything that makes my low back feel better or if it's the 3D movement that I can move a little bit more freely. But either way, this is very comfortable to perform hip thrusting. The next movement that I find super comfortable to perform in this machine is bent over rows. If you are a taller person, this might be not as comfortable for you. You can see that when I'm bent over in the machine, there's only a few inches of clearance before I smack my head on that top bar. But if you're a taller person, you can bend over a little bit more at the hips and do more pen lay rows, and those feel really good as well. Plenty of room as far as the width goes. You could even take out this seat down here, this crossbar, if you want a little bit more space to move around freely in the machine. Just an option. There's only a few modifications that I've made on this machine, a few K-Pex nuggets that we will get to here soon. The next movement I want to go over with you is the shoulder presses. If you're like me and you have some spare parts lying around your gym, like I have this spare back pad, I put it here for shoulder presses in this machine. With this machine, I'm 5'2", and I'm about an inch shy of hitting the top of the guide rod. If you are taller than 5'2" and you are dead set on being able to do shoulder presses in this machine, like I was just saying, you can take out this crossbar. That way you're seated on the floor, and that would give you an additional probably like 3 or 4 inches. You could even put this machine on like little inch lifts if you were dead set on being able to do shoulder presses in the machine. And I think it's worth it because shoulder presses feel really good. What was that? I have no idea. All right, and I'll let that clip lead me into the negatives about this machine. This machine can be pretty wobbly, not necessarily in use, but you saw it in the clip. In fact, when I first built this, one side was latching before the other side, and I did kind of one of these numbers, and I don't want to say I bent it into place because that sounds dramatic, but essentially I think that's what I did, and I fixed it. Now both hooks latch evenly and it feels smooth, and I don't feel wobble in movement, but it is something to note. Another thing about this machine is it is huge. It's way bigger than I thought it would be. It's 72 inches in width, and so make sure if you're buying this machine that you have plenty of space for it. Now that wraps up my negatives about this machine. Now let's just go into some of the things I wish this machine had. I wish the foot plate adjusts because it doesn't, and I wish the back pad adjusts because it doesn't. It's super comfortable for me, but it might not be comfortable for you, so I just wish they adjusted. But for this machine being $480, I think it's plenty of machine for that price, and I do think it's worth the price. Now, a couple things that I did while building this machine. I didn't install this bottom piece. This is supposed to go at the bottom of the Smith machine. I didn't install this because I knew I would want more range of motion. So that's an option. Keep that in mind when you do the install. If you want a little bit more range of motion in the bottom, don't install these pieces. You'll also notice that I have a white machine with black padding. They come in two different color waves. There's white with pink padding, and then there's a black machine with black padding. I wanted a white machine, and so I just decided to cover my pink pads in black vinyl. That's why in some of the clips, the vinyl doesn't look very nice. That is my fault of my own, not the company's fault. In fact, speaking of company, I don't know who actually makes this. There's tons of sellers on Temu right now. So I can go ahead and leave the link in my description for the seller that I bought from because it came in 2 days and they've been very responsive in my messages. So that said, you can also buy this on Amazon if you're nervous about ordering on Temu. I have ordered probably 200 plus orders from Temu over the last couple of years, and I've never had any issues, but that is my experience. Don't take that as buying advice for you. Lastly, this thing did come with a pad for the hip thrust, but it is ginormous, and I think that it hinders your range of motion in the bottom of the movement. So definitely buy yourself one of these because it's so big that there's barely any room for your hands to either side. And like I said, it does hinder the bottom of the movement. All right, guys, that is everything I have on this machine. Yes, I think it's worth the price. If you have the room for it and you can, and you'll use this for more than just hip thrusts, then I definitely think that you should make this purchase. All right, guys, that is everything on this machine. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram. I post my workouts there every day, and I also highlight a ton of equipment that I use in my everyday training. So I will go ahead and link my Instagram in the description below. And thank you guys for watching.